Hello, and welcome to this special presentation on how to use the Prioritized Job Skills Spreadsheet. Specifically, we want to share with you steps to take the spreadsheet that NITIC created with his employer SMEs and then adapt and adopt it with your local employer SMEs. This webinar is hosted by NITIC, the National IT Innovation Center, which is funded by a $7.5 million grant from the National Science Foundation to support IT education at two-year technical and community colleges across the country. Learn more at nitic.org. My name is Mark Dempsey. I am one of the deliverable leads for NITIC, and joining me today will be Andy Healer, the creator of the BILT model. BILT stands for Business and Industry Leadership Team. For those unfamiliar with NITIC's job skills spreadsheet, these sheets are the result of employer vote and discussion meetings. Employers gather together and prioritize granular entry-level job skills, then collectively discuss the results. For the vote, employers are asked to look 12 to 36 months into the future. Educators then end up with a detailed set of concrete metrics they can use to make sure curriculum is aligned with workforce needs. The prioritization vote is on a scale of 1 to 4. A vote of 4 means the item is essential and must be taught to students. A vote of 1 means it's not necessary and can be removed from the curriculum. The closer the average gets to 4.0, the more important that item is to the employers. You can find all of NITIC's job skills list on the BILT page, www.nitic.org/industry. As they are updated, older spreadsheets will be replaced with newer versions. Remember again, BILT is an acronym for Business and Industry Leadership Team. More on that in a moment. The goal is for schools and colleges to use the NITIC list as a baseline. That is, you take the NITIC list and customize it with your local BILT. Let your employers add to it, delete from it, make changes as needed so it makes sense for your region. This is a 3-step process. First, your local BILT will meet to vote and discuss the job skills list to customize it and localize it. To get the most benefit from NITIC's National Job Skills Spreadsheet, you will work with your local employers to customize it to the unique needs of your workforce. The second step is for your faculty to convene and cross-reference the BILT's prioritization to make sure that what you're teaching is what your employees want them to know. And then finally, the third step is to convene your BILT again to ask any clarifying questions that may be needed as a result of that curriculum cross-reference. Let's provide a quick overview of the BILT. What is a BILT? A BILT is a more proactive and energized version of the traditional advisory committee. The BILT model originated with the National Convergence Technology Center. BILTs put employers in a co-leadership role. Rather than passively approving whatever curriculum faculty proposes, a BILT provides very granular recommendations regarding the knowledge and skills businesses want to hire in the future, which helps faculty actively align curriculum with workforce needs. The BILT employs a structured, repeatable process that works for any technical discipline. As you'll see, the cornerstone of a successful BILT is an annual job skills prioritization. Always remember that faculty are in charge of curriculum. The BILT model just keeps them better informed. Faculty do need to commit to actively trying to address the job skills the BILT members prioritize. But faculty can work together and problem solve with the BILT members on any item they don't feel they can address. In general, this job skills meeting is a time for business leaders to weigh in, with faculty mostly just asking and answering questions. That said, successful BILTs emphasize deep two-way relationships. BILTs keep educators as well informed as possible about workforce needs. Faculty create the curriculum and teach the students. Through all of this, there are 2 goals of a successful BILT. One is to build strong relationships between educators and employers. The better employers know you and your program, the more invested they will be in your curriculum because they can see you're listening to their feedback. And the bigger the benefits your students will receive from your employers. That could be providing guest speakers, donating new equipment, volunteering at job fair workshops, or judging capstone projects. The second goal of a BILT is to align curriculum to workforce needs. In the BILT model, educators are always listening to employers and planning adjustments to curriculum for the future. Remember, everything about the BILT is geared to these 2 things: building relationships and aligning curriculum. You can learn more by watching our 20-minute BILT orientation video, downloading a detailed BILT process document, or reading directions for creating the online voting form for your employers. The URLs are there on the screen. So we're going to take a quick tour of the actual job skills spreadsheet. There are 3 categories of items. Items the BILT recommends educators keep, items the BILT recommends instructors remove, and then emerging items that weren't on the list the BILT thinks should be considered next time. And also, there are different kinds of job skills your BILT can prioritize: knowledge areas, skills, abilities, and tasks. Which ones you prioritize will vary depending on your needs. I want to point out one other thing. Knowledge, the Ks, refers to theoretical awareness. Do students understand the concept? Skill, on the other hand, the S's, refers to hands-on practical application. Can students do something? Let's take a quick look at a full job skill spreadsheet. Okay, so here is a full job skill spreadsheet. These are knowledge items. You can see here each knowledge item. We tally up how many votes each one got. This one got 3 4s, 5 3s, 2 1, 2 2s, and 0 1s. There's the average, 3.10. Anything that is above 2.6 gets turned green. The signal it's recommended to be kept. Anything below that gets turned pink. So scroll all the way down here, all these Ks down to the bottom here. So now here's a separate section now. These are the items the BILT recommend to be removed. And you can see here, there's a lot of pinks here. But notice there is a green one that made that they asked to be removed. That's why that discussion is so important after the vote. Likewise, there are 2 pinks that got lower votes they thought should be kept. So make sure you discuss the results after the vote, because they do sometimes sort of go against what the vote might suggest. Your skills, the first section here is the things they wanted to have included, they recommend kept. And then the lower section below here is the items for skills they suggested be removed. Now, NITIC for a while was voting on abilities. We have since removed that and have a separate vote for abilities because we consider those more like soft skills, employability skills. So going forward, NITIC is just doing the Ks and the S's, the knowledge and the skills. But if you want to include abilities, that's okay. It's up to you. There's the abilities. And now we also did certifications. Also, that's up to you. Here again, this AWS Cloud got a pretty low vote, but the BILT decided it should still be kept. So we got bumped up to the recommended keep section. Now, so we have 3 categories, right? We have the category for what to keep, category for what to remove, and then these items here to be included next time. These are items that were not on that list. The BILT members thought they were important and worth capturing on a list. So those are things that should be on your radar. And next time you convene your BILT to vote next year, these should be voted on. So again, these are things that are emerging that should be on your radar, but don't necessarily have a vote number ascribed to them. So now I'm going to let Amber Healer take over, and she will talk more about how you take this data and cross-reference it with what's in your courses.
Thank you, Mark. I'm Amber Healer. I am the inventor of the BILT model. To recap just a bit, step 1 was using your BILT to localize the job skills list to your region. Step 2 is the curriculum cross-reference. Faculty convene a separate meeting to go over the BILT's prioritized updated job skill sheet and determine if there are any gaps between what the BILT needs students to know and what students are learning. All the faculty teaching the program under consideration should be involved to get broad buy-in for the decisions. NITIC uses a 2.6 as the cutoff value between what gets into the curriculum and what's left out. That is, items with a vote average of 2.6 or lower are recommended to be cut. But this value can actually be adjusted. We came up with the 2.6 because over doing hundreds, literally hundreds of these KSA meetings, any item that ranked 2.6 or less typically ended up on the cutting room floor. To recap, the cell averages that are in green indicate an item that is needed. Cell averages that are in pink indicate a lower priority item that would typically be left out based on the discussion of the industry. Here's a small snippet of a worksheet with several pinks and greens. The first thing to do is to enter all the courses in the program in the columns on the right in columns K and beyond, as shown from the most basic to the most complex of the courses. We're only adding 3 courses for ease in showing you the process. For this step, you may need to hide columns H and I if they contain information from the employer vote. Now the faculty works together and examines one course at a time and evaluates how well each existing course addresses each specific job skill item. Even for a new program, some courses will likely come from the existing courses. Enter an E for introductory, or exposure coverage if the course covers the item at an introductory level. Enter a T if that coverage is at a thorough level. The third option is to leave the space blank for no coverage of that item in that particular course. Note items with the pink average may or may not be mapped depending on faculty feedback. In some cases, the item could be a prerequisite knowledge for an item that is really needed. After you have all the job skills evaluated against existing courses, you'll consider rows that need further attention. For each K or S with a green average and no coverage, faculty should consider how they might cover that item. If they can agree on how to cover the item, they can go back and enter new courses or list new modules for inclusion at the top of the spreadsheet along with existing courses and enter the appropriate E or T for those new courses or new modules for each K and S. If after consideration of new courses and new modules, there is still no coverage, highlight the row in a shade of red because you must discuss that item with the industry team. These items may be items that the college cannot cover for some reason, cost of equipment, or perhaps no availability of trained faculty to teach a particular topic, full-time or adjunct. By discussing these items with the BILT, faculty and the BILT may be able to solve the problem together. Then for each item with a green average that does not have a T for thorough coverage but has E for exposure coverage at some level, you need to highlight that row in a shade of yellow to ask at the BILT feedback meeting whether exposure is enough coverage or if the BILT members expect deeper coverage. If deeper coverage is needed, the faculty need to consider how to provide that and report back at the next meeting. The third and final step in this process is to present your color-coded job skill sheet to your employers in what we call the BILT feedback meeting. You'll explain the changes you made or plan to make to address the gaps you discovered. Then you'll start a discussion on the areas that require more clarification. Ask first about the gaps indicated by a red row and get BILT feedback on how they can help you cover that item. You may also need to discuss with them alternatives for supporting the item if you are not able to cover it or if it's something they really, really want and they don't have ideas. As a last resort, ask whether or not that item is absolutely required for the graduate. After the gaps are discussed, ask the BILT if those items in yellow with only exposure coverage need to be covered at more depth or not. Based on BILT feedback, faculty may choose to modify curriculum further and report back to the BILT at the next meeting. Remember that faculty remains in charge of the education decision-making. They may choose to create new classes or adjust existing classes to cover the prioritized KSAs. However, if covering a highly prioritized K or S is simply not possible, they need to report that back to the BILT.
Thank you, Ann. So let's recap how to use NITIC's job skills spreadsheet. Number one, you download the sheet for the IT discipline you need. You find those at nitic.org/industry. Number two, you use that list with your own local BILT to customize it for your region. Remember that your BILT is changing the NITIC sheet and making it their own. The NITIC list is just a starting point. Number three, after your BILT votes and discusses, your faculty will cross-reference their feedback with curriculum to look for gaps. Number four, you'll conduct a BILT feedback meeting to get further clarification from your employers if needed. Number five, from there, faculty will take action to address gaps with either new content or new classes or making adjustments to existing classes. And finally, number six, whatever you decide to do, be sure to report back to the BILT what you've done so they feel valued and heard. Keep them in the loop. You can find our contact information and website here for NITIC and for Ann and I. One more quick plug here. If your IT program isn't already a member of NITIC's IT Innovation Network, please consider joining. The IT community is designed to foster collaboration, knowledge sharing, and professional growth among its two-year community college faculty and administrator members. It's free to join. Member benefits include exclusive access and priority seating for professional development webinars and workshops. Find the application at the URL below or use this QR code. Thank you for your time.